Happy New Year and welcome to 2026. Hello and welcome. I do car reviews and a little bit of DIY stuff. Next to me is the 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid. This is the calligraphy trim, which is the most expensive and fanciest version of it. Now, it's powered by a 1.6 turbocharged 4-cylinder engine paired with an electric motor, made it to a 6-speed automatic transmission, and sending power to all 4 wheels with a mechanical all-wheel drive, which means there is a drive shaft going from the front to the rear wheels. I'm going to talk about it, review it, go over all the specs, the features. And before I continue, I want to say a big thank you to Hyundai for allowing me to have this Santa Fe in my home test area for me to review for you guys. Thank you very much, Hyundai, and thank you guys for watching and sharing my videos. Stay tuned, that's coming up next. Okay, let's talk 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy Hybrid. This is the hybrid version, of course. It has a little bit of a hybrid badge in the back, which we'll go over a little bit in the walk around. Let's just start up front with the styling. Hyundai refreshed this vehicle, I believe, in 2023 or 24. I'll insert the year. But anyway, very striking. You got the H patterns everywhere. Full LED headlights, as you can see. The LED's headlights are flickering on camera, but they don't flicker in real life. You got a light bar that going across here, high and low beam. You got the H, as you can see, the H pattern everywhere. And let's talk about it. So up front, you have very bold front end. This vehicle, being the calligraphy, does have a 360 camera. There's one right here, one in each mirror and one in the rear, of course. And these black things here are the active grille shutters, which if I turn the car on, you will see them come on, and there they go. They open up to give for cooling and for fuel, and they close up for fuel economy, which is pretty cool. So they're open when they're needed and they close down when they're not. The car right now is on because it is a hybrid, so it's off. Vehicle in the front has parking sensors. Very bold and in charge face. Radar sensor is all the way down there, which is a very terrible place to put it because it will get damaged with road debris and things of that nature. And I gotta say, this color is very, very nice. It pops. It's a big red color. My tester, it has 20-inch wheels wrapped in Pirelli Scorpion tires. 255 45 20-inch. They're all blacked out. You got black bits everywhere. The fender here does say Santa Fe, which is pretty cool. Nice little touch. Mirrors are power folding. As you saw, they unlocked because I am next to the car, and I think the car, no, it did not actually turn on. It actually turned off. It stayed off. But you could just, of course, this is what the Hyundai key looks like, which if you flip it this way, it has the Hyundai logo, and you press this, you hold down the remote start button, and it's probably not gonna make me look bad on camera. Let's see, and there it goes. It turns on, and it will turn on the engine if needed. But anyway, this vehicle does have keyless entry, so you can just put your hand on the door handle, unlock like so. As you see, the mirrors unlock. And we'll go over in the interior section a little bit later in the video, but it is very, very striking. It's one of the Hyundai's very good selling products when it came out with this design. And there's the engine, and it also has this little interesting grab handle. So what the premise is, you hold on to this. Let's say you want to load things on your roof. You step in, use this, hold on to this, and then you can climb and you can load things on your roof. And this vehicle has dual sunroof, so this one does not open, but it does have a shade that slides, and the little one does open, which we'll go over in the interior section. But you do get standard roof racks in this particular calligraphy trim. And this, you can lock it inside. There's a little lock that you can lock it right here, so this way nobody can start grabbing stuff. So pretty cool, neat little touch. And out back is a little bit of a controversial look because you have a very, very low end taillights. Let me get the camera a little up there, and let me just lock the car and shut it off. And you guys can see they look like H. It's supposed to be H, but they kind of look like dog bones. Somebody told me that. And you do have secondary lights on the bottom, because in US regulations, taillights cannot be on moving parts. So what happens is, if you open the trunk, you'll see that you see the bottom lights blinking. That becomes taillight, brake light, everything. And now that we're back here, let's take a look at the cargo area. Behind the third row seat, you get about 14.6 cubic inches of space. I left my filming equipment there so you guys can see more or less what that looks like. The seats, third row seats are manual, so you just pull that strap there, like so. Pull, try to do this one hand, and then you can expand your cargo capability for a total space of 79.6 once you have both seats folded, second row folded. I'll insert what the figures are with the third row folded. You do get a little bit of a cubby down here. Move that out of the way. You get a little underfloor storage right here for your cargo capability. No spare tire. You get a tire mobility kit, unfortunately, because it is a hybrid. And we'll go over the interior section in a minute. Of course, power lift gate. And you have a ginormous Santa Fe badge right there. Hard to see because it is black Hyundai logo. Throw a brake light right there. Mirror cam. And that's pretty much it. Let's take a look at the interior, the luxury features, the tech. And before we go inside, this will not be a complete Hyundai video if I don't demonstrate the Hyundai Park Assist. So you press this lock once, press and hold the start button. The car comes to life. And then you press and hold this button here, and you're gonna see the car completely drive itself. And you let go, and then you press back, and you hear that hybrid sound, and you see the car moving backwards. Super cool feature, super unique. I guess if you have a tight driveway or a garage, you can use that way. All right, let's step inside, take a look at the tech, the features, and then we go for a quick drive. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's step inside the 2026 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy. As you see, you walk up to it, the mirrors unfold, kind of greet you. At night and daytime, this lights up, and the lights will greet you. So you just put the door handle, put your hand on the door handle, like so, and it unlocks. It only has it on the front doors, not the rears. And let's talk about the interior. Material quality is very, very good. This up here, this upper portion is soft padded. It does have like aluminum, very nicely well done aluminum looking trim. It does have memory seats for 2 drivers, so which will remember the mirrors and the seat. And it does have, Hyundai does a very good job of making synthetic looking wood look like wood, but it's not. This is very, very good. It looks like a real wood. It feels like it. Of course, all the windows are auto up and down. Power everything. It does have a nice little handle here. My tester has the 12 speaker Bose sound system, and it sounds very good. You have Hyundai Santa Fe Santa Fe door sills right there. And these seats they're full power seats, of course. You have 4-way lumbar support. You do have Hyundai's relaxation mode. So when you press this button like so and you hold it, it does this little number, and you see the armrest, and it really gets into a very relaxed mode. And then you press it back and it comes back. I guess if you're waiting for somebody and you don't want to be normal, you could just relax and it goes back. And let's step inside. Oh, and before we go inside, on the side here is the parking brake, electronic parking brake, dimmer switch, trunk open and close, traction control on and off. This is actually a fingerprint reader. So when you select your profiles, you can just set it with your fingerprints, which is super unique and cool and interesting. And door pockets are decent. You can put a decent sized water bottle here. And let's step inside. Riding height is not that bad. It is decent. The seats are leather wrapped. They are Nappa leather seats, so super soft. And in front of you are dual 12.3 inch displays. So I'll go ahead and turn on the car. In front of you is the instrument cluster. And over here does infotainment. For infotainment duties is the second screen. Press confirm. Resolution is very good, very crisp, no issues. This also has a head-up display because it is the calligraphy. Let me try to zoom in, which is right there. You see the little floating 0. It shows turn-by-turn navigation in both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and the factory navigation, which this vehicle has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. And zooming back out, super cool instrument cluster. Nothing crazy and outrageous. Gauges are configurable. You can completely configure the gauges the way they look in the instrument cluster. It does have full automatic headlights, and Hyundai's very useful lane watch camera, which what that does is it activates the cameras in each mirror to show you who is in your blind spot, and it does it for both sides, which is super cool and super useful. And every car maker should do that. And quick switching over to the mirror. Right now is a normal mirror, but you flip this, and then that's when you activate that camera mirror, which means that you could have the car full of people and stuff, and nobody's heads will get in the way because you have an actual camera looking outside, and it works very well. Super easy. But the mirror has built-in home link. That's what those three little houses are, so you can set up your garage opener. Above me is a standard size sunroof, nothing crazy, and one touch open and close. And then the center, you have it has a shade. It does not open, but you do have a very expensive glass sunroof. Everything up here is suede. The material's super soft. Nice little Bose speaker grill there. The steering wheel is heated completely, meaning the whole rim lights up. On the left side of the steering wheel, you have controls for the cruise control, so you could turn it on and off, set the distance, the speed, lane departure warning system, and lane keep assist. This little button active, you can cycle through that center screen. Keep pressing it. You get fuel economy, which I've been getting 25.5. Engine temperature, tire pressure gauge, what the all-wheel drive system is doing, and what the hybrid system is doing. So it has a lot of information. You could do the compass, you could do everything pretty much on that center screen. And let me just go back to, yep, that's it. You have your hybrid gauge right there, so it tells you when the car's in electric mode. Right now is in EV mode, so the engine's not running. And on the right side of the steering wheel, left side, right side, you have controls for your media. So mode button, voice command, track forward, backwards, favorite button, pick up and hang up, and you have a nice little tactile volume knob that feels great. And if you click it, you can mute it. So super useful. Same thing with this. It feels very good to scroll to that little screen. And moving on to the infotainment screen, if you've been in modern Hyundais, pretty much they all look exactly the same. I love how Hyundai has a healthy mix of screen and physical controls. So in the middle, you have home, map, search, media, of course, has a button, track forward, track backwards, seek, favorites, and setup. So when you press the home button, this is what the home button looks like, the home screen. And It's super useful, super easy to use. You got phone setup here. You can control your phone. It's yelling at me because I don't have my phone. My phone is on Bluetooth mode. Phone projection, so that's for the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Voice memo. Here you can control the seats. So you can activate actually the seat heaters, which is super cool. Right there, you can activate the heaters for the back because the seats are heated. You can fold them. You can recline the rear seats. Cushion tilt. Super useful. And you can get them completely folded. If you go, do grocery shopping or a IKEA run, you don't have to get out of the car, and you can fold it. You got weather. You got weather here, built-in weather. Setup button, sports, valet mode, Hyundai Pay. So very straightforward system to use. Nothing outrageous. And then of course you got the physical controls for your climate. So you have a capacitive touch. It does have dual zone climate control. You got 3-zone actually, because you could turn on the rear as well. So you got heated and ventilated seats for both passenger and driver. And you got more physical controls. You have auto brake hold right here. What that does is when you come into a light, it holds a brake for you. You got different drive modes. So you have sport, you have my drive, snow mode, and then you have eco mode, which maximizes for fuel economy. And sport mode just makes it a sportier. All-wheel drive lock, so you can lock the center differential. Downhill assist, so if you're coming down a hill, this is kind of like a downhill cruise control. It will do the braking for you, and you don't have to do anything but just drive. This activates the cameras and the self-parking that I just demonstrated outside. So you have a nice surround view of each cameras. That's the back. This is like a little 3D view of the car, and this is like a bird's eye view of the whole car. So super useful technology, and for everyday life. Turn it off, and that's the parking sensor front and rear. And in the middle you have dual wireless charging, fast wireless charging in my ad, and you have fast charging also for USB-C. You did USB-C here everywhere. This is just a little indicator, and it shows you when it's charging. Super useful there. Nice deep cup holders right here, and a very large center console with, you can take this little drawer out and it becomes even deeper. It's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but it's very deep, and it goes all the way down there. And then you have a drawer when you take it out, and it goes very deep. So a lot of storage cubbies. Put that back in there. And try to do it with one hand. Okay, there you go. And speaking of cubbies, you got another little cubby right here underneath, in front of the glove box. Glove box is a decent size. Nice little ambient lighting right there. And you have another upper glove box right here. Press this button right here and you can open that. So super nice. Materials, again, are soft padded. You got faux stitching here on the dashboard. More of that faux wood, but it looks very nice. I like this nice little line that goes across completely. Vents are right here. Power engine start buttons right there, and the shifter is right here. So you push the foot on the brake. Click one for drive, one for reverse, and then you have to press this to go to park. And that is pretty much it up front. The seats are both heated. Oh, and you do have another little under storage cubby, which I have an umbrella here, so you can put anything, and you have another power source. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus. Yep, you have another 12-volt power outlet right here. And that is pretty much it. Let's up front, let's go jump in the back seats, then third row seats, and then we go for a quick drive. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's jump into the second row seats of the Hyundai Palisade. Hyundai Santa Fe. Got confused. The door is very big. It opens nice wide. My Tesla, of course, you guys can see it's finished, and they call it light gray, but it looks kind of like white. But anyway, moving to the doors, materials are also similar to the front doors. You got more of that faux stitching, faux aluminum trim, and the fake wood, but it looks very good for fake. Soft padded armrests. You do have 3-zone 3-level heated seats. Cup holders are in the middle. I mean, excuse me, on the doors. There's no cup holders between the center seats. And these seats are power because this is the calligraphy. So you can see their power. You can move them. You could adjust the cushion tilt. They're manual for the front, but not for the. They don't move. There's no power for front and rear. There's a manual lever right over here. But let's get inside. And I'm gonna scooch over to the passenger, to behind the driver's side. I am 5'8", and the seat is adjusted to how I drive, and I have plenty of leg room at 5'8". You do have pockets behind each door, USB-C right there, so each seat has that. And this center console, you can open it from the back like so, and like I mentioned earlier, this has a drawer. So you can open that drawer and you can really put stuff in there. Super useful. There's a hump for the middle. The seats do have a nice little ratchet style armrest and Nappa leather seats. Like I said, they're heated, and there is a look at that nice large glass display, because panoramic display, because it does not open, but at least you have nice air coming into the cabin. And the seats controls are here. You can turn it on, they light up. Ambient lighting, and they're all to the rear, so you have an ambient lighting strip here on the back. Integrated sunshades, which I keep saying this in every video. Every car should have that. Super nice to see that here. You do have LED lighting everywhere. Nice little soft grab handle. And that is pretty much it. I am very comfortable. Let me spin the camera around. I have plenty of headroom. Again, I'm 5'8". The seats are super comfortable, and you could do this with the seats. I mean, turn the heated seat off. You could recline them like so. You can tilt the cushion, and they're not power operated to move forward and backwards, but you do have a lever, and you could do this, and you could really have a lot of room. A lot of leg room if you put them all the way back. I mean, I could almost stretch out and be relaxing completely. Super, super nice. Again, the seat is adjusted to how I drive in its most extended portion. All right, let's jump into the third row seats, and then we'll go for a quick drive and final thoughts. Stay tuned for that. Oh, and before we go to the third seat, I just want to add, you do have more H patterns everywhere, and you do have built-in grocery bag holders behind each seat. Nice little touch. And you have air vents, pillar-mounted air vents right here for the second row passengers. All right, stay tuned. Let's jump into the third row seat. Stay tuned for that. Okay, to get into the third row seat is a very simple affair. Of course, you can do it. You could just walk through and get to the back seats, but you could also press this button here, and the seats does this, and it completely folds, and then you can just push it out of the way. Get in. Oh. Close the door and push the button, and the seat will slowly come back to how it was. And then that's how pretty much leg room I have if I'm sitting in the third row seat. So very, very snug fit back here. Not a lot of room. Not a lot of room back here, obviously for adults, but you could move the seat a little forward and have a little bit of space. And thanks to that sunroof, that second sunroof, there's a lot of light coming into the third row seat. And this is a look of how it looks like all the way from the third row seat. These guys, let me see if they recline. Yes, they do recline. And in the recline position, I guess you can kind of get comfortable. You do have air vents. Quick note, there is no climate control back here besides just AC. And those are adjusted right here. And it clearly says rear AC only. There is no heat for these coming out of these vents, which is interesting. And you do have a traditional 150 watt outlet, USB-C port. 2 cup holders right here. You have speaker grill right here. So yeah, for a short little trip, let me turn the camera around so you guys can see. For a short trip, yeah, I could fit fine. I mean, I'm 5'8". Again, I have decent headroom. Not too bad. Now, a long trip, yeah, you might get a little, you might feel a little claustrophobic back here. But anyway, it's still a decent size for this type of class. Because remember, this is a, I guess you could say this is a mid-size SUV. Or yeah, mid-size, and it has a 3rd row seat. So nice little option for families who don't want a giant SUV and have 3rd row seats. All right, let's take this Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy Hybrid for my first drive and final thoughts. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's drive the 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid Calligraphy. Whew, I know, long word. That just means it's the fanciest version and it happens to be a hybrid. All right. Let's go for a quick drive. I have the car in eco mode. And one thing I want to note that these 2 wireless charging pads have a nice little rubber feel to them. And it works even if you have a case, which is nice. So let me just do my usual loop here. Oops, that's my equipment in the back. And here's the little 1.6 kicking on. You would think 1.6, oh my God, that's a tiny engine for such a big car. But actually, it does very well. I have yet to feel as if this thing is like struggling for more power. I haven't. It feels perfectly adequate. Thanks to the electric motors, of course, that it has. And fuel economy, I mean, it's rated between 34 and 36 on the highway. I haven't taken it too long of a trips. But I can see it doing that way, doing that my MPG, I guess. If I were to take it on a trip, I will have to do a little report back. But suspension is very smooth, even though it has 20-inch wheels. I gotta say, very, very good, well done Hyundai with the suspension tuning. Being, of course, a hybrid vehicle, the powertrain, the engine turns on and off. Right now, it's off, it's an electric only. You don't feel the transition between electric and EV mode, so which is a lot of car companies surprisingly don't know how to get that right. And let me get into my usual highway loop here, and I will merge. And mind you guys, I am in eco mode, and I don't know if the microphone is picking up the engine, but and here we go. No problem whatsoever. Let me set it to the speed limit here. And let me turn on the Hyundai's driving assist. And voila, you could just take your hands off the wheel. And it will do a good job of keeping yourself in the lane. Also, this right here keeps tabs on your eyes, making sure that you're looking forward. And as you guys can see, it's doing the driving for me, doing a good job of following the distance. The head-up display will show you the car in front of itself, and eventually it will yell at you and tell you to hold on to the wheel, to pay attention, obviously. Otherwise, it will shut off by itself. But nonetheless, great product by Hyundai. I know they are going to, because of the little bit of controversial styling in the rear end, I think they're going to update it for 2026. Maybe maybe it'll come out for 2027. Who knows? We shall see. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you can see that content, because I will be going to the 2026 New York International Auto Show and trying to film it there. Hyundai does have a huge presence at the auto show, and super cool. It works perfectly fine. The system is good, and this also has automatic lane change. And what that means is you could just turn on the turn signals and it will automatically change lanes for you. You don't have to do anything. The system will detect if it can do it or not, and it will basically do the lane changing completely by itself, which is super cool and useful technology. And that's it for now. This has been my first quick look and review of the 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy Hybrid. Thank you all for watching, for liking, for sharing my videos. I really appreciate it. I mean, you have a great and prosper 2026. Take care, and I will see you all on the next one.